Good morning. Good morning to all. Have a good day. Today I'm going to start with a section about arrays. What are arrays and how they are useful? And this session is going to be especially for students of bcom CA second semester and about the examination point of view. So here, when we talk about the concept of arrays, before I begin, I want to give an overview of the syllabus, what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover something about the arrays, introduction, definition of array, initializing an array, characteristics of an array, one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and multi-dimensional arrays. So before we begin with the session, what is the need for us to go for arrays? What is the need for us to go for arrays? And how to use arrays? And what is single dimension array? These are points which I'm going to cover in this session. So coming to before proceeding, what are the expected questions for the examination point of view from this arrays concept? So coming to the concept of expected questions for arrays, most of the time they're going to ask you what is one-dimensional array or what is two-dimensional array, or they might ask you one more important question: explain two-dimensional array with matrix addition. Okay, and how to use, or there might be different questions based on this concept, like how to use arrays. What are the different concepts where we can use arrays, depending on the topic. So for examination point of view also, these are short questions, and they will be asked every time, repeatedly. So first, coming to the first concept, need for us to go for arrays. So suppose if I take a small example, if I proceed with the program, suppose I'll take a small example. Inside this function, I have declared a few integer variables. Now, if I want to assign the values to these integer variables directly, I can assign the value, or I can assign using a scanf, and I can print the values using printf statement. So if I want to use a scanf statement, first initially I'll take a printf statement. Welcome to arrays. And I'll take a scanf by accepting three values. Because as I've declared three integer variables, I'm taking scanf for accepting three values. It's going to be a very simple program. So I'm accepting three values and I'm printing three different values on the output screen. Okay, let's execute this program. Fine. So welcome to arrays, and I need to enter three values. I'll enter a few numbers, and three values have been printed on my screen. Now, here I've taken only three different variables, A, B, C. In case if I have a need for us to declare few more variables, it might be 10, or it might be 100, or it might be 1000. We will never go for 1000, but for instance, then what I have to do? I have to declare so many variables. Okay, if I have to declare 10, I have to declare so many variables. If I have to declare 100, I need to declare so many variables. That is going to become a too much complication for the programmer or for the developer. So to avoid these complications, we have an alternative option for this. And that alternative option is declare a array which can store an array can store multiple values. Array can store multiple values. That is multiple values in the sense here I have declared only 3 variables. Suppose in case I need to declare about 10 or 100 or 50 or 20 variables. Then alternative is I need to go for arrays. So arrays can store multiple values in a single variable. In a single variable, it can store multiple values. That is what is the concept of array. Okay. Now, how it can store. This is what coming to the first point. Need for us to go for arrays. Need for us to go for arrays. This is the first and foremost important point. Now, next point. How to use arrays. So when we come to the concept of how to use arrays, suppose I need to declare I want about 10 values to be stored in a program. I want to store about 10 values in a program. So here whenever I want to store this 10 values, I have to declare some variables A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, X, Y, Z up to. So alternative is we are going for arrays. So how to declare arrays? Here what I'm going to declare is I'm going to declare only a single variable. I'm going to declare only a single variable, say for instance X. And it must be able to store multiple values. This single variable X must be in a position to store multiple values. So in order to store multiple values, I need to give a size for this variable X. So that size can be mentioned inside the square brackets. Now here I want to store 10 values. So mention the value 10 in the bracket. This is a way we are going to declare a array variable. Now, I have declared an array variable. This is the first part. My first part of the program is completed. Now, next thing is, once I have declared, second thing is, I have to assign the values to this variable X. As I have declared the size as 10, the size of this array X is 10. I can store 10 integer values. Remember this point. As I've declared the data type as integer, I can store only 10 integer values to the variable X. I cannot store I cannot store different values. I can store only integer value. So array definition will be something like this. Array can store multiple values in a single variable of similar type, in the sense if I've declared the array variable as integer, I can store only integer values. Suppose if I've declared as a float y of 10. Now to this variable y, I can store any decimal value which is of type float. Same case if I have declared as char z of 10. Now to this variable z, I can store 10 characters. And this is going to be all of a different case character, because group of characters, as they are stored in a single variable, it can be called as a string also. That we'll deal in the later case. Now present we are going to concentrate only on integers or float. So here as I have declared an integer variable X. So I can store X, inside X 10 numerical values. So I can assign values in different ways. First case, I can assign the values directly to the variable. Second case, I can assign using scanf state. So if I want to assign the values using directly, so just give equal to, open a block by using a flower brackets, and assign 10 different values. 10 different values I am trying to allocate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 2 more. Yes. I have given 10 different values to a single variable x. Now, next case. How the values are going to be stored. So coming to that point of view, I have declared a variable x. Okay. Just I'll draw some lines. Sorry. Yeah. I have a block, and this block name is going to be A. Alphabet A is the name of this block. Okay. And inside this, I can store 10 values in a computer memory. Let us assume that this is a computer memory. So inside this, I can store 10 different values. So 10 different values, I make a partition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10th one. Okay. So as I have stored 10 different values into this variable x, okay, what I can do is I can store 10 different values. Okay, I can store 10 different values into this variable x. So each value will be having its own index. Say for instance, if you come back to the program, I've given the first value as 47. So the first value 47 is going to be stored in this position. And second value is 49. 49 is going to be stored in this position. Like this, all the values, whatever values I've given in the program, they are going to be stored. And they all are going to have a common name called as A. The common name for all these values is going to be the variable A. Now, how to recognize every value inside this A? As A is having 10 values, how to recognize? So what array is going to do is internally, it is going to give an index for every value inside the array. First value, second value, third value, fourth value, fifth value, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Like this, every value is given a index. And this index is going to begin with 0. Not from 1, remember this. Array index are going to begin from 0. So first value is given the index 0. Second value is given the index 1. Third value is given the index 2. And fourth value is fourth value is given the index as 3. Fifth value 4. Sixth value 5. Seventh value 6. Eighth value 7. Ninth value 8. 10th value 9. And last value will store something like a null value, which represents end of array is represented by using something like a null value. And the representation of null is represented as /0. /0 is representation of end of array, that is equal to null value. Okay, these are the values are stored. Now coming back to the definition once again, I'll remodify the definition of array. Array can store multiple values. Array can store multiple values in a single variable of similar type at same location. At same location. So what do you mean by same location? All are stored at same place inside a computer memory. Okay, so variable A is what is the name. So here, just coming to the storage. Every integer will occupy either 2 bytes or 4 bytes depending on the operating system. Say for instance, if it is a 32-bit operating system, it occupies 2 bytes. If it is a 64-bit operating system, it occupies 4 bytes. So every value, as mine is 64, every value is going to occupy 4 bytes. So each value is occupying 4 bytes. So how many I require? 10. So 10 into 4. So total 40 bytes. 40 bytes is going to be occupied for the variable A. So this is what is a array. All these values are stored at the same location, and it can store only similar type of values. I hope everybody is clear till now. Now next point. If I want to print the values, I can use a printf to print the values. But how many values I need to print? 10 values. Okay, so I need to have 10 values to be printed. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 10. Yes. Now, what is the first value? First value is x. And inside that x, what is the index of first value? 0. So every value has to be represented with the variable x of 0, comma. Second value x of 1, comma. Sorry. X of third value is x of 2, comma. X of 3, comma. X of 4, x of 5, x of 6, x of 7, x of 8, x of 9. Okay, 10 values I have stored, and I am printing 10 values in my output. So let's see the output. There's some printing typing mistake. Something more. Let me check it out once. Yeah, I forgot a comma. So 10 values it has printed in my output. Now, here I'm having only 10 values. I'm without any trouble, I'm able to print the values. Say for instance, I am having about 100 values. So printing will be a complicated work. Accepting the 10 values will be complicated work. So there must be an alternative for this. That alternative is nothing but just take a printf statement, take a printf or scanf statement, and repeat that statement for number of times of array. Here the size of array is 10. So repeat it for 10 times. Suppose I'm having a size of 100. Then repeat it for 100 times. Okay. So this program can be modified. Okay. Just I'll remove this statement. I'll take a loop, okay, which is going to repeat for 10 times. You know, loops are statements which repeats a statement for number of times. So I need a printf statement. This printf is going to print the values of a array, and this statement must be repeated for 10 times in my program. So I'll take some basic loop, for loop, and I'll declare some variables. Int I is equal to 0. Okay, and this loop has to be repeated for 10 times. So I'll take the value I less than 10. So the loop is going to repeat it from the value 0 to 9. That is 10 times it is going to repeat. And I need to print a percentile t. As I'm having only one statement, I'm not taking a block. I could have taken a block, but as I'm having only one statement, I did not take a block. Comma. I need to print x of, I need to mention the index. Index is going to start from 0 to 9. So here I'm repeating in the loop. If you observe, I'm repeating the loop. I've taken the value 0 because I need to use the same value for the index. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mention x of I. So initially I value is 0. Then I value is incremented to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 9 it is going to increment. So our work is made very simple. Okay, just execute this program. Some issues. Oh, again typing mistake. So values are printed, but there is no gap. If I want to give a gap, just give a gap in the printf. Let's check it out once again. We got all the values printed in order. So this is how the arrays are going to be. Suppose if I want to give a block, give a opening and closing block before and after printf. I could have done this, but as I'm having only one statement inside for loop, that is block is completely optional. Otherwise we can do. Okay. Then next concept. Here I'm storing the 10 values. If I wanted to store the values using a scanf statement, okay. So what I need to do, I'll remove these values. Just I'll declare array, and even we don't need these variables unnecessarily. We need not waste the time for the variables. So take another for loop. Why I'm taking another for loop is for scanf statement. I can take a similar variable I, or I can take a different variable. That depends entirely on my wish. Take a same loop which can be repeated for 10 times. Okay. Scanf percentile d. I need to accept the value, comma, ampersand x of index j. Now it is. Index is j now. So this entire for loop is going to be repeated for 10 times, and it is going to accept this scanf for 10 times. So 10 values it is going to accept. So 10 times this statement is going to be repeated, accepting different values into a array x. So j value will be 0. So first time x of 0. As j value becomes 1, x of 1. As I've said, array is going to have the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is going to accept the values in the terms of index. And when I'm printing, I've taken the I. So x of I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this, it is going to accept the values. So let's see the output. So first I need to enter 10 numbers. I'll enter some numbers. Fine. I've entered 10 numbers and I've got the output for 10 different values. I hope this program is completely clear. Now, suppose if I have declared this array as float. Okay. So here the format specifier I need to change it to F because I need to accept the decimal values, and rest all will be same. Only format specifiers I need to change. Now I need to accept 10 decimal values. Some random numbers I'm entering. So I've got 10 decimal numbers. Same way, suppose if I wanted to enter characters. Now I can accept 10 characters as percentile C. 10 different characters I need to accept, and I need to print 10 different characters. Okay. First character. Ten different characters are accepted and 10 different characters are printed. Now, the one important thing over here for characters point of view, as I've said in the beginning, group of characters are called as strings. Group of characters are called as strings technically in C language. So here I have declared x of 10. So I can enter 10 different characters. When all the characters are grouped together, they form a word. Like say, for example, I'll remove the gap here. Just I'll execute this program once again. Suppose I'll give some name, little flower degree college. So I'll give the little, Little. I've given only 6, not issue. Remaining things I'll mention it as flower degree, college. So little flower degree college. So what is happening over here? Group of characters as I've entered separately, it is going to form a string. But in C language, there is a special case where directly I can accept a string and I can print a string. Instead of entering character by character, first character, second character, third character, fourth character, fifth character, sixth character, instead of entering character by character, in C language there is an option. Complete string can be accepted at a time. That string, the format specifier is going to be percentile S. And as I'm entering character by character, this statement has to be repeated for 10 times. So I'm using a for loop. But if I enter a complete string at a time, I need not use a for loop. Why? Because I was using for loop because it has to be repeated for 10 times. But as I'm entering a complete string now, it need not repeat for 10 times. Directly, it will be done only once by using something called as percentile S. And in this case, I did not mention the index also, directly the variable name. Directly the variable name I can mention and I can print the values. So now let's check it out. I can enter a variable little. Sorry, it is taking because of the space, it is taking one more addition. Okay, I have to remove the space after this. So group of characters are completely printed. Let's stretch. So this concept is what we call it as single dimension array. Single means we are having only one dimension. We are having only one dimension. That is why it is called a single dimension array. I hope everything is clear with this. In the next section, I'll talk to you about two-dimensional array and multi-dimension array. Thank you. Thank you all.